But one of the things I've learned through a long time of bow hunting is it's never over until it's over.
Well, this stand is at a point where several trails pass within bow range, and I'm just on the uphill side of those so that I don't lose the height advantage of being in a tree stand. On this particular morning, when I reached the stand, I broadcast about a half a gallon of shell corn around the various places where I hoped that I could stop a deer. It's January 23rd. Bucks are likely to be on the move, and one of the hardest parts of bow hunting is to, during the rut especially, is to get a buck to stop in a place where you can, where a shot is possible. And a doe has found the corn. The wind here is in my face and a little bit from my right, so I'm not concerned about the doe smelling me. I don't have much cover around the stand that I'm in, so I'm just going to be patient and wait until she gives me a good opportunity and maybe turns her head so that I can draw the bow without her seeing me. Well, at the time, I was very happy with the shot. I knew I hit in the rib cage, but unfortunately, if we slow it down, we can see that the arrow is back just a little. I've hit the shoulder blade a few times, and so sometimes I struggle keeping my aiming point far enough to the front. But at this point I didn't realize where the arrow had hit the deer. So I waited for an hour and got down. I quickly found blood in the arrow, but unfortunately there was stomach contents in the blood. So I decided to back out, drive 5 miles to my home, eat a snack, change into some clothes that were better suited for tracking through dense cover, and wait. About 3 hours after the shot, I picked up the blood trail. There was plenty of blood, so I moved to a point about 100 yards from my stand without trouble. When I reached the spot where the toilet tissue's hanging in the limb, as you see here on the screen, I could see the deer laying about 30 or 40 yards further down. Her head was up, her ears were drooping, and she seemed reasonably alert. So I backed up to a point where I'm standing in this picture, and then the deer could no longer see me, and I couldn't see her, and I'm just thinking about what my next move is. And then this small buck comes up. I was very surprised that the doe didn't get up and leave during all that commotion. So I thought she's probably too weak to get up and I should just finish this. I go back to my truck, get my bow, come back, but at some point she did get up and move away. Fortunately, there was a good blood trail after she moved, and I followed it about 30 yards and backed out again. At that point, I called a good friend who has a tremendous amount of bow hunting experience just to get a fresh opinion on how I should proceed. And he said, let me load up Wyatt, that's his dog's name, and we'll come help you find the deer. So about 5.5 hours after the shot, the dog picks up the trail at the point where I found the first blood. My friend has the dog on a leash, and I'm following behind, and we move without trouble to a point where the deer bedded down, and then to a point where I had stopped. We went about another 75 yards, and my friend turns toward me and says, "We found your deer." And almost immediately the deer jumps up and leaves. All we could do was watch. We waited a little while and picked up the trail again. Wyatt, my friend, and I went a very long way. Occasionally I would take time to look for blood and mark it with tissue. Many times it was not clear if the dog was out for a stroll or if he was still on the trail, but I kept finding a little blood and we kept moving. Eventually we found the deer in a creek. She had traveled about 8/10 of a mile after the shot.
Wyatt, you did good.
I got a strap here.
I do too. I got a handful of mine. Let me do this, and then we hook them both up when we get up there.
Okay. You know, I've got a stand right up there, but it's a long way from the truck.
Hey, when I find a deer, I don't care. I just got the deer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It
At 2:30. What time we start trailing?
2:30. We started about 1 o'clock.
Another good friend who hunts the property that I was on came over and picked us up in his side-by-side. Good thing, because we were pretty whipped after the dog had dragged us through some really dense cover for almost a mile, and I believe even the dog was a little tired. That was a rare adventure, very much worth remembering.